Now, do you
Yeah.
think it was the technology that created the hurdle, or was it people? Was it culture? Was it the consultant? Because they're supposed to get you qualified.
Right. I don't know. I don't know. There were definitely different processes that we had to follow because we were Medicaid.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been a while and it wasn't so much the technology, it was just the way our practice was structured, and it has something to do with Medicaid and just being able to get folks engaged in the way that it's a very deep way that the parameters ask you to get people engaged. And that was very difficult for us.
So your practice is what the American Academy of Pediatrics talks all the time about, and what all these politicians talk all about. It's diverse equity and inclusion, and is what they talk so much about. But it's only from here, your teeth out, where you have a legacy practice, a Brown physician committed to the practice, your father, who most likely lived very close to the practice because that was how you did it in the old time. You were going to commute an hour into the office, builds a practice that serves mostly brown immigrant kids who are in pediatric deserts where there's not a lot of providers, clinicians to take care of them. They look like their patient population, they speak the language, they're culturally aware, and then you choke them by regulation and by not paying them enough. And so it irritates me to no end to hear the American Academy of Pediatrics speak about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It cannot happen when you don't support the little practice in the poorest neighborhood, that is the most brown neighborhood, with the immigrant kids and with all the challenges that you just spoke. It is ridiculous to try to get immigrants who may not even read and write in their home country, in their home language, to try to connect to a patient portal in order to pay the physician that's providing the vaccinations for their kids. That is what killed the small community practice. Now, if you really want to get irritated, seems to me that you followed in your dad's footsteps in the same mission of taking care of the most underserved children in Chicago. And you were culturally aware. You grew up in the neighborhood. You were not, you had the best of both worlds, perfect English speaking, US training, and you went back to the people that looked like you to serve them. And the lack of payment and overregulation choked you off and killed you mid career.
Wow. To hear it spoken that way, I never wanted to work in a fancy, shiny practice. I always knew that I would work with immigrant patients. Just, I think, reflecting my own immigrant journey, my own healthcare journey as a child. That was never a question for me. And it was really a privilege. Sorry.
Very, very hard, right?
It's very
Very
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
You were doing great work for the community. And the AAP, the politicians, they talk so much about how we want to get people like you back in their neighborhood living their dream. And then we choke them.